Hey guys, hello and welcome. Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, welcome back. Hey guys, hey guys. Hey guys, what's up? Good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Hey guys, good morning. What's up? Good morning. So a thunderstorm rolled through. I just made a very strong cup of coffee. Definitely, I'm not like, I have like a very, the way I do it. Yes. What's up guys? Welcome to camp. Hello and welcome. Good morning guys. Hello everybody. Hey there. Hello everybody. Hey guys, this is Arizona. Hello everybody. All the fixins here, green onion, avocado, finished product, sour cream. I know it doesn't look like much, but this is seriously like the life. This is how we dance high. Dance high. Oh, they're so pretty. Final nachos. This is the coolest thing. Look at this. The sun is back, so there's hope.
Well, let's go back out. Out of the tent.
You're a little worm. I'm a little... Do it again. Look what has arrived yesterday, and I have patiently been waiting to open this up and share this moment with you. This is the YouTube Creator Award, and I don't know, I'm so grateful for all the support, all the comments, the likes, the wonderful emails, and so I just wanted to share this unboxing moment with you. So, you ready?
Do you need a knife?
Yeah. I just cannot believe that this moment is here. It seemed like just such a insane pipe dream when I started with 0 subscribers forever ago.
Piece of foam.
Piece of foam. Oh my God! Presented to Amanda outside. Wow. Look at this. Ah! That is so crazy. It's got like a little bit of weight to it. It's like a couple pounds maybe. That is so cool. I have to put this in the office.
Looks about right.
Woo! This is my office wall. Bunch of Nick's photos and some of mine, and then I have Lego flowers on my computer. It looks so cool. You can see your face in it. This is where I spend actually a lot of time. This is where I edit all my videos. This is our cool photo wall. These 3 are Nick's photos, and then those 2 are ice macro photos that I took. And then that's a little wood print I made. In honor of reaching 100K, I wanted to sit down and just do a chatty video answering some of your questions. So I asked you what your questions were. We're gonna try and get to all of them. Oh, Got my phone here, it's now covered in dirt. Okay, so first question is, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel? My channel just reached 100K, but what you might not realize is I've actually been uploading YouTube videos for over a decade. So over 10 years. I uploaded my first YouTube video in December 2012. A lot of my older videos are no longer on YouTube. My channel was very different, it had a different name. It was about yoga and mindset and all that kind of stuff. But I have been uploading videos for a long time, literally hundreds and hundreds of videos, many of which before I even had more than like a handful of subscribers. I was just pumping out videos because I liked video. And so to answer the question of kind of why I started a YouTube channel, it was really because I felt desire to have like a blog and to write and to share. And when I would sit down to write, it felt like things kind of would get stuck. But then when I sat in front of a camera and talked, I felt like things flowed better. And so I just started to make videos because it just felt a little bit more natural for me at the time to sit down and chat than it did to write. So that's kind of how I got started on YouTube. And I was really just making weekly videos and editing them all myself, like just kind of learning different things. And it didn't really turn into the Amanda Outside channel until I want to say like 2017, maybe even 2018 is when I started with the outdoor content and really started to take YouTube seriously in terms of growing on the platform. Because prior to that, I was just uploading videos without really any thought for like SEO and search and all of the best practices that go into uploading a YouTube video, thumbnail, title, like all that kind of stuff. So I really started to dive into those best practices and create videos around that and the outdoor theme in, I guess 17 or 2018, can't quite remember. Moral of the story is I've been on YouTube a long time and I kind of just wanted to highlight that because I think we're living in a world of where, everyone wants just things fast and we want to kind of just skip a lot of those middle steps. But my channel, at least my growth and experience here, has really been a slow burn over time and showing up consistently and just really trying to continually learn and get better at making videos. And so now we're a pretty good, well-oiled machine when it comes to producing videos. But yeah, I did not start out like that. How did you get into camping and hiking? Was it something you did as a kid? I didn't really hike a ton as a kid, but we did camp a lot. So my parents had like no money when I was a kid, and camping was just a cheap thing to do as a family. And so our family vacations would often be camping. And so we did that a lot. And I really didn't think much of it. Like I had a very outdoor childhood. It was always playing outside with all the neighborhood kids. And like I said, we'd go camping and do a lot of just those outdoor activities because they are pretty low cost. And then as I got older, I really wasn't into any of that. Like I went off to college. I didn't really hike too much, like a little bit here and there because I went to college on the East Coast in New England. So it's very pretty in the fall and stuff. So I dabbled a little bit in hiking, but never really camped, never got into backpacking until I moved to California. I've always loved to cook. I've always loved to bake. It is the first thing that I remember loving as a child. Actually, like the first thing I was passionate and excited about was cooking and baking. And so it's just really cool how I've combined that with my love of the outdoors and nature. And I feel that time spent in nature is crucial for well-being and health. And so it's really cool that I'm able to combine all those things that I loved even as a kid to something that I do now. Can you link to your Amazon storefront? So I do have an Amazon storefront, but I probably should update that because I don't really link to it anywhere. But I do have a resource page on my website, which I will link to in the description below. And on that page, it has some of my favorite camp cooking gear, my favorite hiking gear, camping gear. And then it also has like a bunch of books that I really like, my camera gear. And so it's sort of a page that I do update, and it has links to a lot of the gear that I love and use regularly. I've noticed that you don't seem to do sponsorships on your channel and you don't have a Patreon. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on sponsorships. I think it's really refreshing that you don't do them, but I love your content and hope you're getting the compensation you deserve for your work. I'm not against sponsorships at all. Maybe I will do them in the future, but right now it's just something that I haven't pursued. Now, that being said, compensation for all the work and stuff that goes into this channel. I always appreciate it when you appreciate all the hard work that we put into this channel, because it is so much time and it is so much resources that go into producing and running this channel. I do really want to grow and be able to maybe hire someone to help me with some of the tasks, so that I'm not so weighed down by a lot of the daily tasks that need to get done, and I can focus a lot on more of the creative stuff that I really am the one that needs to do, which is coming up with the video ideas and outlining things and thinking about the filming and the creativity and the excitement of filming and producing the videos. So I am open to a Patreon. I haven't really thought much about that, but if you would be interested in something like that, where maybe I provide like exclusive recipes or Q&As or something, I don't know. Thank you for appreciating all of the work that we do. And if a Patreon is something that you'd be interested in, let me know. What is a bucket list hike that you still want to do? All right, so that's a good question. I feel like I'm always adding new things to my bucket list, but this year we did check off the Laguna Quilatoa in Ecuador. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I will link to it below, because it was epic. It was a 3-day backpacking trip where we didn't actually camp in a tent. We stayed in little hostels along the way, and it was just so spectacular. It will definitely go down as one of my favorite trips. Both Nick and I were just on cloud 9 during that entire journey. It was challenging, but it was really, really rewarding and something that I will always remember. And then in terms of bucket list ones coming up, the next thing that I kind of have my sights on is the West Highland Way in Scotland. I have talked to my dad about maybe doing that one with me and Nick. And so that's something that I'm kind of starting to formulate some plans around for maybe doing in the fall next year. So roughly a year from now, we'd probably maybe try to make that one happen. What do you do on hikes when blisters have formed? I have not had a blister in so long, thank goodness, but I always carry, I have my backpack here, I always carry this Compeed Instant Pain Relief blister stuff. This is the best. So they come in different sizes. Here's one, and it's kind of this gel-like thing, and you stick it on there and they work so well. Nick recently needed to use one of these and he could not believe how well it worked, because he was in a lot of pain from the blister and instant pain relief. So these Compeed ones are the best, and I always have these in my backpack. All right, next up, what is your favorite hike you've completed? This one is hard for me to narrow it down. So the Laguna Quilatoa is definitely one of our favorites. I would say the Grand Canyon rim to rim was a really good, challenging hike that we look back on and are it's good memories, but in the moment there was some painful moments, painful parts of that day. But overall we look back and we're like, oh, that was really cool. I would say Paria Canyon is another one that we did, I think in 2019. And that was just, again, one that we look back on and are just in awe that we did that, and just everything that we saw and did. So that was pretty spectacular in terms of slot canyons. Oh man, there's so many over the years. Long time ago, I did the Camino de Santiago, and that one, of course, sticks out as an experience that I'll never forget. So yeah, tons of hikes. We've been on so many, but those are some of the ones that kind of stick out for me right now as being pretty epic. Any tricks for keeping pie iron desserts from burning? So the pie iron is this little cast iron cube that you can cook all sorts of things in. I love using the cooking iron to make all sorts of things. I even have an ebook with a ton of recipes, and the ebook comes with a training video, so I'll link that in the description below. But in general, you really just want to cook things low and slow. It's tempting to put the cooking iron right there in your flames, but that's often going to be way too hot, and you're going to have things burn on the outside before the stuff in the middle is hot or cooked. And so when in doubt, err on the side of caution and cook things at a lower heat, so further from the flame, for a longer amount of time, and then just pretty frequently rotate things. That's also something that I found. Instead of leaving it on one side for a long time, make sure that you're flipping it every few minutes depending on what you're cooking. So that's kind of my biggest tip. The other thing I'll say is You're probably going to burn some things as you're learning to cook with the cooking iron, especially cooking over the fire. That's just kind of part of it. You got to burn something before you really know that, okay, that was too high of heat, and then you can back it off for the next time. And then over time, you will get a hang of it, and it's a lot easier to kind of just intuitively know what you need to do and what heat you need to cook stuff. Have you ever camped and hiked in the Pacific Northwest? I actually have never been out there. Nick has been out there. He loves it. So we've often talked about doing a road trip out to the Pacific Northwest and doing some camping and hiking, but we just haven't made that happen yet. Next up is, what's your favorite area of Yellowstone? I love Yellowstone National Park. I've visited it so many times over the years in different seasons, and right now I'd say probably Lamar Valley is my favorite area, but the whole park is beautiful and there's so many different things to see. And so Lamar Valley is just this insane, pristine valley, and it's a great place to see animals. I often see bison there, and we even saw wolves there. Actually, I've seen wolves there several times, but we were able to see wolves eating an elk carcass in the winter, and this is something that still goes down as probably my favorite animal encounter or that goes down as one of my favorite animal sightings ever. That's a beautiful area if you want to just kind of be a little bit further from the crowds and see some of the animals. But if you want to see the geysers and the mud bubbling up from the earth and all of those like colorful prismatic pools of toxic things, then Lamar Valley isn't really the area for that. You'll have to go to some of the other parts of the park. The park is huge, and so I would really kind of think through the things that you want to prioritize seeing, because that'll probably dictate even where you stay and how you enter the park, because it's a big park. But Lamar Valley is beautiful. Which videos are your favorites to make, travel, equipment, or the cooking videos? I would say the cooking videos are probably my favorite, which is why you see them the most frequently on this channel. And the what I eat in a day camping videos, or anytime I'm sharing recipes and cooking at camp, that is just my sweet spot. I love it so much. I'd say next up is definitely the travel content. I love being able to share those adventures with you, and those are such creative videos as well, because there's so much that goes into the filming and kind of how you tell that story and how you edit it all together with music and to create certain feelings and the flow of the video. And so I get a lot of creative fulfillment out of filming and uploading and creating those travel type videos. So I really love it all. I don't do a ton of gear reviews. I'll do roundups of my favorites for hiking and camping and that kind of stuff, but I don't really do one-off gear review videos, because I just don't really feel like that's my thing. And there's so many other great channels that do a fantastic job at that and who love gear, and I just don't really feel like that's me, so I don't do a ton of those videos. If you did some retro videos of camping for different decades using the popular equipment of the day, what would you find the most nostalgic item you would have to find and use? My parents had an old green canvas tent, completely unrealistic now, but would be fun. So I love those videos on YouTube where it shows you hairstyles through the decade or women's clothing through the decades, and I just think those are really cool. A couple years ago, Nick and I went to the East Coast. I had a friend who was getting married, and we were flying out there, and we wanted to keep the whole trip kind of a little bit on the cheaper end, and the venue where she was getting married happened to be right next to a campground. And so I was like, Nick, should we just camp before the wedding? We could save so much money if we just spent 2 nights at the campground instead of in a hotel somewhere. So that's what we ended up doing. And my plan was we'd fly back to Connecticut, where I'm from, and use one of my parents' old tents that they had in the garage, and then drive to the wedding. And so we get all the way over there and to my parents' house, and I find the tent in the garage, take it outside to set it up, and it is destroyed. I mean, it's been sitting in the garage, in this humid, musty garage for 2 decades. It was completely unusable. But this question really kind of reminded me of that tent, because it is so insane how different tents are now. I mean, that thing was so clunky and bulky and hard to set up, because we did try to set it up and put it together. And I do remember my parents fiddling with that all the time as a kid, and it being this whole ordeal to pitch the tent. And so yeah, this comment or this question just kind of reminds me I'd probably have to go with some of these older tents that are it's just crazy how much things like that have evolved over time. But Anyway, to finish the story, I had to go to Walmart and I just bought the cheapest tent that they had at Walmart, and we used that for camping, which it was not a great tent. It poured rain and you had to like close the window from the outside, so I had to go outside and like zip it up in the rain. And anyway, I was in the campground bathroom like getting ready for the wedding with a dress on and putting my makeup on and it ended up being fine. We saved a ton of money. We actually had a lot of fun camping and it worked out really well. But yeah, I'm probably one of the only people that would go to a wedding and decide to camp. What's your favorite scary movie? I do not have a favorite scary movie because I hate scary movies. I can't even watch stressful, like dramatic shows because they create too much anxiety and stress when I'm watching them. I will like physically shake from anxiety when I'm watching. So Yellowstone, for example, I watched the first couple seasons of that, and after I was just like, no more. I cannot handle this show. Even though it was really good, it just created way too much stress for me in my body as I'm watching. And so same with scary movies. I really just don't watch them at all. I'm a big baby when it comes to scary movies. Nick loves them though, so I will ask him and I'll put his favorite one here. He usually just watches them at night while I've gone off to bed. He'll watch his scary movies. Taking my girlfriend out camping for the second time in her life. How can I make things as comfortable as possible for her? Her first experience was bad, LOL. Okay, I'm sorry that her first experience is bad, but I have a few ideas that might help. So the first one that comes to mind is if the darkness creates a little bit of uneasiness and anxiety, try planning a camping trip around the full moon. When there's a full moon, barring any clouds or weather, you can actually see a lot, even without a headlamp, like you can just see really easily. So if the darkness is something that just kind of, again, creates a little bit of uneasiness, maybe try planning around a full moon. I then, of course, need to bring an eye mask. I've talked about that so many times because the moon bothers me, but that could help if the darkness is a problem. The next thing that I think of is pack the luxury items that will make the experience better. So the first one that I always do is a nice pillow. If I'm camping for a long time, I have a pretty good camping pillow now, but I will also just bring my pillow from home because I love my pillow. And if I'm traveling for a longer period of time, I just want my pillow from home. So are there some luxury items that you can bring along to just make it a little bit easier for her to get into camping? And then sleeping at night, the same thing. Like, what are the high ticket items that can make a huge difference? So pillow and sleeping pad are the two that I always go to. I've talked about the Xped Mega Mat as something that I love. It really is awesome for camping, so I will link to it below. It's pricier, but it's really comfortable and it will last. I mean, I've had it for like 5 or 6 years now and use it a ton. And Nick has one as well. They're just really comfortable and it will help you sleep better at night, because really anything that you can do to sleep better will make camping better. Because everyone hates when they're like up all night tossing and turning. That's not fun when you're at home. It's especially not fun when you're at camp. And then also you wake up and you feel like crap. And so nothing is fun. I'm very much a sleep diva. I have a good sleep schedule. I like my sleep, and really anything that messes up with my sleep, I tend to stay away from. And so for me, if I can sleep well, that makes a huge difference on my mood and just my outlook on the next day. So prioritize that. The next thing I would say is cook some good food. If you're eating beans out of a can, that's just not very exciting or fun or good. So think of some fun meals that would be exciting to make together, and then enjoy that process of cooking and sharing a meal together around the campfire, if you have a campfire, and make that into kind of a fun event and get everyone involved in the process of cooking and enjoying the meal. And my last tip is to maybe consider going to a campground that has nicer bathroom facilities, because that can make a huge difference. We've all been to those pit toilets that are disgusting, where you walk in and they reek and there's no toilet paper and it's just nasty. If you can maybe pick a campground that has just a nicer bathroom, like I said, a lot of state parks and national parks have bathrooms that just have a flushable toilet and running water where you can just brush your teeth, go to the bathroom like normal, and that can make the experience of camping overall a lot more enjoyable when you're just getting into camping. So maybe consider that. as well. I really love this question, and I think I want to try to make this into a longer separate video because I probably can think of some more ideas as well, but hopefully those are helpful. Future goals, plans for career, travel, and life in general. And then along with that, there's another question about marriage. And so yeah, our goals for the future, we want to do all that. We want to get married, have kids. I think like long-term goal, we would love to buy land and build something tiny, like a little tiny home or a little like cabin of some sort. I'm not really sure on that yet. But then do kind of build out a little homestead there. I want to have a garden. Nick is a hunter. I want to have bees. I want to have chickens and just do all that. That's kind of like our long-term dream, and then raise kids in that type of environment. But I think shorter term, we want to build a trailer. We have talked about this for a couple years now, so we're inching closer to making it happen. So need probably a new vehicle because both of us have very old vehicles that I just don't think can tow a trailer, or at least not tow it where I would be confident in driving up and over mountain passes. We've talked about building a trailer and making that into a series on YouTube, which I just think would be really fun. And then being able to travel a little bit more and do longer road trips here in the US, maybe go up to the Pacific Northwest for a little while. Trailer would just kind of give us a little bit more options for that and just be something different and new to try. So that's kind of shorter term. And then along with that, we love South America. So we want to go back there. Ecuador was so incredible. We both want to become fluent in Spanish, and so traveling down to Central and South America more is definitely on our list as well. Speaking of that, if you have any recommendations for good Spanish schools in Central or South America, let me know in the comments below, because I'm considering going down for a couple months and just immersing myself in a Spanish learning school so that I can finally get decent at Spanish, because I start and I stop so many times and I need to like commit to it. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. The flies have definitely found me. I'm actually surprised I've gotten this long without them bothering me too much. Ready? Nick. All right, that is it for the Q&A. I'm gonna go grab Nick, we're gonna get some dinner, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for all your support over the years. I appreciate you so much.